Those sure are some names. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for your patience in our setup. And of course, we thank you for all of your generosity so far, as we're sitting at $57.90 of $6,000 to get the RPG Valkyries to RPG Limit Break. But we're here to race one of our personal favorite games as a team, it seems, and just as a bunch of individuals, which is Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. So again, thank you all for coming out. I am your host, Emarine2, but I will be stepping aside. And we will be listening to the dulcet tones of our very own Casual Geek Dave and Snapey tonight, gentlemen. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. Oh, go right ahead, Dave.
We have an exciting Rydia Flags race ahead of us tonight. So if you want to go into some of the objectives we'll be having to meet tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are heavily featuring Free Enterprise's new objective system here tonight in order to make a sort of Rydia special here. So not only will our runners be starting off with Rydia tonight, they will have to find a second Rydia somewhere out there in the world and recruit her to the party. They will also have to find Rydia's own personal boy toy in the form of Edge, and then they will be going around doing all of the various side quests related to Rydia all throughout the world. That includes the Bahamut spots, that includes the Golbez spot, the Waking Young in the Feymarch, and doing the Barren Basement to get Odin. This will give them the crystal, which they will need to flip Zeromus and finish the game.
Yeah, in addition to that, they'll be able to find key items to open up, various things in the world. In the normal summon quest spots, as well as the moon boss spots, are available.
Right, you are. We do have a couple of other interesting flags on tonight. We're going to be using both the Pro Treasure and Pro Shop randomizations, which means that those treasure locations and shops that are harder to access, that require key items to get to, are going to have better value than just, say, the other spots. So we might see some plays early in some of the later locations to try to get their hand on some really nice loot. Some of that loot they're definitely going to be looking for with all of this Rydia in play is some of those high-level summons that'll make Rydia very useful.
Yeah, looks like we are getting started now, starting with Rydia and Yang. And we've got a pass right out the gate, so that's really useful.
Yeah, that means there's no anxiety over having to take the long trip through the lunar subterranean to get to Zeromus. They can just go right through the hidden door in the back of the Troya Inn and go right to Zeromus through there. And it's also interesting, the boss that we see inside of Baron Castle wearing a blue robe. That means it is either Water Hag or the Fabul Gauntlet. So not as much information as you might usually get from checking that boss spot there.
Yeah, that pass will definitely impact the routing in the late game. And right off the bat, we're already seeing some branching paths here with Netara and Syl deciding to hit up items in Baron. And Moonblaze and Pidge are heading to Damsian.
And there's our second Rydia available in Baron Inn there. So that is one of our first objectives. All our runners will have to do is get through Baron Inn and claim that second Rydia. That's going to cross off one of the objectives. Now, it's all they need to do is recruit Rydia in order to complete that objective. But my understanding is that the racers tonight have a bit of a gentle person's agreement to always use Rydia through to the end. So if you're a fan of Rydia, you're in the right place tonight.
Yeah. Regardless of what characters they find, they've agreed to keep at least one Rydia in their party as just a casual agreement.
Yeah, and that's it's very interesting to keep that in mind, because Rydia is not a character you often see brought to the end game in Free Enterprise. She has very low HP growth, and the big bang that Zeromus does in the final battle is a very, very hard HP check. So it can be very difficult to get Rydia to consistently survive there. Plus, you need to grind Rydia up to a very high level to get access to that nuke spell, so that you can consistently deal damage to Zeromus. If you were thinking about maybe using some high-level summons against Zeromus, well, I wouldn't recommend it. He has some hard-coded counterattacks to Rydia's summon commands that you really don't want to trigger if you can avoid it.
Yeah, and Syl was the first one to hit up our free key item here in Troya and found the package. So that's a potential check to find edge. We'll see if we take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we don't often see. Usually we have the no free key item flag turned on for these sorts of races, which eliminates that key item check, instead moves it to Rydia's mom, which would mean you would have to hunt down the Mist Dragon in order to do it. That not being the case tonight, there actually aren't any boss hunts in the objective list tonight. Our runners know exactly where they need to go. In order to complete this, it's just a matter of what's going to be there and getting powerful enough to beat what is there when they get there.
Yeah, and we saw Pidge and Moonblaze check the Octomom spot just in case one of the bosses they were looking for might be in that spot. Now Syl's checking Mist Dragon's spot.
Yeah, we'll probably see a lot of treasure checks early, as we've seen already, just because Yang and Rydia doesn't exactly equal out to a lot of damage here early on. Yang is a very defensive character, very high hit point growth, but as far as damage goes, his damage is very much tied to his level. Doesn't really start to scale into the appreciable levels until he gets very high in the 50s and 60s. So early on, really can't carry you damage-wise. Rydia, similarly, is incredibly weak early on. Only access to very, very little white and black magic until you start finding some of those summons. But even then, you need to get a few levels under her belt so she actually has the MP to use those summons, assuming you can even find them.
And Syl's taking advantage of the Dancing Dagger to try to deal some decent damage to Evil Wall here, with despite having a party that's not capable of a lot of damage at this point.
Yeah, always an item you like to see very early when you have a low damage party like this. Dancing Dagger can be used as an item, as you can see Rydia doing there in Syl's screen. It does a magic-based attack that can do some decent chunk of damage early on. Very good way to make your dagger-wielding characters that don't have their own means of doing damage to contribute these early fights.
And meanwhile, the other three are finishing up the checks in Troya. And see me branching out again. Moonblaze is taking a stop to do the character check here on Hobbs.
Yeah, this is a very important check here, because if this ends up being a strong character, could be something that could carry through a lot of these early Blue Planet checks.
And we also have that objective to find edge.
Yeah, exactly. Pidge might be giving us our first look at who is waiting in the Village of Mist behind that package. Checking some stores first.
And Syl checked it, saw Pain Man, decided they weren't interested.
Don't blame him one bit.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though, that Bahamut and Golbez objectives we have, could they potentially have been found in the inn after you clear the package check, though? Or is that not correct?
I believe that you're correct, actually. So yeah, they could have. Yeah, I believe that is correct, that they can show up there.
So we'll see with Pidge here if that quick reset bites Syl or not, in case one of those bosses was in that spot. And in the Hobbs character check, we found looks like Porum.
Yeah, I kind of like Pidge's call here on deciding to go through with this. Dark Knight Cecil, not exactly a great character early on, but a lot of times in these heavily objective-based seeds, you really get a lot of benefit for sort of playing the long game, as it were, because you're going to have a lot of checks, and those are the sort of seeds where Paladin Cecil really shines, because there's a lot more of a chance to get one of those high-level holy swords. With the pro chest randomization, there's a good chance they might be able to find like a really good weapon for him in one of the later dungeons, or possibly in one of these key item spots. There could be some high-level loot there instead of a key item. So even though he's not going to be immediately useful, if they stumble across, like, say, an Excalibur or even a Crystal Sword, Paladin Cecil can really pay off in the end.
Yeah, there's so many objectives, like you said, that there's just plenty of time to develop Cecil, and a high likelihood that we would be hitting ordeals. So it's not a bad decision whatsoever. And yeah, I'd be nervous about the boss check as well here to miss that. But we'll see if that pays off or not.
Yeah, it's always one of those things that's kind of clawing at the back of your mind if you decide not to do the pack. It's like, well, is the boss I need behind there? And it looks like it's just Antlion. Pidge is going to take the boss because Pidge does want to grab that Cecil, it would seem. Not a terrible boss to fight in this spot. Yang should be able to take care of it without much problem. Using the Dancing Dagger and Yang's kick ability, very smart there. That's going to bypass the counter attack that Antlion normally does to regular physical attacks. So very heads up play there by Pidge.
Yeah, and some decent levels here to get started for Rydia as well. Just get her out of the minimum range.
Which is interesting. I don't think we've seen anybody, and correct me if I'm wrong, check West Hobbs, which can give Rydia a free summon spell, which might be able to, give her a power boost early on here.
Yeah, I don't believe we've seen that yet. Syl, meanwhile, is going to grab her character from their character from Hobbs, and Moonblaze is checking out the Fabul gauntlet spot, and is getting some Magus Sisters for his troubles.
Now that is interesting. You don't see that a lot. The Magus Sisters set up in such a way, since the bosses inherit the stats of the spot they're in, their agilities were a little out of sync. Mindy casting Fire 2 on Cindy before Sandy had set up the Reflect, so doing a little bit of free damage to themselves there. But yeah, it looks like Moon doesn't have the damage on his own to get through that. Is going to go ahead and nope out of that fight real quick.
I was like, Pidge is being the first one to check the West Hobbs spot, like you mentioned, and see what we're going to get here.
That's huge. That is the Sylph spell. That is one of the best spells you can get for Rydia early on. Sylph does a very good amount of damage to the enemy, and best of all, it takes that damage and then distributes it as healing to the entirety of your party. What's best about this is that due to an error in the coding of Final Fantasy IV, the spell is completely free MP-wise as long as Rydia has enough MP to cast it initially. So that is going to be a fantastic boon for Pidge01 and anybody else who decides to check West Hobbs there. Sylph, really, really good spell.
Yeah, as Dimring correctly pointed out in chat, it does virus levels of damage and is completely free.
Pretty much everything you could want in a spell this early in the game.
Oh yeah. Looks like Syl decided to head on over to Fabul while Moonblaze is still standing toe-to-toe with the Magus Sisters. Netara, meanwhile, has opted to grab that Syl spell for herself, so I'm sure she'll be happy to see that.
Yeah, Mindy down for Moonblazewolf. It's got to work quick here. It's got about a turn or two before Cindy casts Resurrect on Mindy. But the nice thing here is that Mindy is your main damage dealer. It's going to let him take a lot of pressure on here. Actually, he's going for Sandy instead. Might have just been going for Sandy with the spell there since Cindy has got Reflect set up on her. And yeah, there's the Resurrection. So Mindy is back, but there's a lot of damage on Sandy and Cindy. Once Cindy is down, that Resurrection threat is gone, and you can deal with the rest of the sisters a little more easily.
And Syl has gotten to the Magus Sisters fight as well. While Pidge is going after this extra character and taking on Dark Elf with Netara close behind. Great use of that Blizzard item there by Syl, doing some great damage before that wall comes up.
Yeah, very, very heads up play there, throwing that out there. That is a lot of damage since the HP value of a spot is split amongst all of the enemies in that spot. So that being able to hit all targets for equivalent damage is really, really big. Yeah, you can already see Mindy is gone. As long as Cindy gets taken care of here within the next turn or two, should be okay. And Moonblazewolf finishing up his fight. We're going to get our first peek at what the Fabul defense gives you.
And a magma key. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is
deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal, especially with pro chest randomization and pro shops on. That's going to let Sylverfyre and Moonblaze, who are going to have that magma key early here, pop down into the underworld, check some of those treasures down there. They're going to be a lot higher value treasures down there than they would find on the overworld, so might be able to get some of their characters in gear here very quickly.
Yeah, meanwhile, Pidge is deciding to go down to the Antlion Cave, which I believe we saw earlier was a good chunk of money for taking out this spot. 25k or something like that, I believe I saw.
Nothing wrong with money.
Definitely useful.
Yeah, especially with an early magma key, they can go on a shopping spree on some of those underworld shops, which might have some of the really nice items that you like to see. That can really help out in some of the more difficult battles.
Moonblaze selling off some equipment real quick to make some money to buy some life potions. Always a good idea. The life glitch is always in play, and it's always good to have life potions.
Yeah, life potions are absurdly cheap in this game, so always good to grab a couple stacks of those. As Dave was mentioning, not only can they be used to bring up your dead party members, but if you throw them at an enemy as they're dying, you can do what we call the life glitch. It's a fun way to get double the experience from the enemy. The long and short of it is that the life potions bring a character back based on their vitality stat. And, well, every enemy in this game has 0 vitality. So if you bring an enemy back from the dead with a life potion, it immediately dies again because it has 0 HP. So you can get double the experience from it. You have to use it just as the enemy is fading off. Otherwise, you can't target them. They become untargetable after they die. But it's a really good way to eke out a little bit of extra experience from some of these fights.
Yeah, the only exception being is, and I'm going to throw up the air quotes really hard here, most bosses. But the ones that aren't, oof, it can be pretty useful.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, while our runners are doing a little bit of shopping, mind if I step in for a minute here?
Please go right ahead.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 donations fairly recently. We have $10 from Liddell. Just $10, just to name the main character in Ogre Battle 64, Meowness. And we have $20 from Baltz, who says, I have to donate for free enterprise, and they want to name the army in Ogre Battle 64 the RPG Valkyries.
Great, thank you very much.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I support it. Alright, Moonblaze has ran into a Mylon Z.
And is this the second fight in Variant, or is this the first? I think it was it must have been the first, yeah. This is getting XP from it.
That's Ashura, I believe. Yep, we have Ashura now.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad of a fight here. They did start with that starting kit, which is sort of a newer feature to Free Enterprise that gives our runners some common items they might need early on in the game, so that they don't have to do early shop checks and get right into the action. The advantage of that is it comes with 2 Star Veils, and what they can do is use a Star Veil on a person and then use a Star Veil on that same person again. It's going to reflect onto Asura herself, and since Asura is known for liking to heal herself, all of her heals will bounce off of her onto our party instead and make her much, much more easy to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely going to be an advantage to use those Star Veils. She's still hits pretty hard in that spot, and potentially one shot some of the other characters there, but Ying should be able to tank one on the nose before getting healed.
Yeah, Dembarine in chat mentioning something. There is an alternative strategy for this fight called life locking or gray locking. You'll notice that Asura has 3 heads that she spins between. That gray one is the one you want to see. Each head corresponds to a different white magic: Cure 3, Cure 4, and Life. That is going to be the spell that she tries to cast on herself based on which face is going forward. If it's the gray face, it's going to be Life, which obviously is not going to do anything for her because she is already very much alive. So if you time your attacks properly, you can make it so that she will always spin that gray face forward. You'll never have to worry about her healing herself, and makes the fight much more manageable.
And Syl's the first one that's gone underground and dove directly into Sylph Cave here.
Yeah, making a beeline for Yang here. Just checking in with Yang is going to allow them to go back to Sheila in the overworld and get a free key item check from her.
Did you see what that item was? My stream glitched out on me there.
I did not catch it. Nah, same here.
Alright, probably wasn't a key item since I don't see anything tracked, so. Ooh, and a crystal mail. That's some money.
Yeah, very, very strong piece of defensive equipment. Unfortunately, only Cecil can equip it as a paladin, and the biggest drawback of it is it prevents the Berserk spell from landing on him. Berserk being an excellent way to get a ton more damage out of your melee fighters, so generally not perceived as a very good piece of gear for Cecil, despite its impressive stats, but does sell for an enormous amount of money, so it can be very, very helpful as a little bit of seed cash, especially early in the seed.
I don't know about you, but every time I see crystal mail, I just say cha-ching.
Yeah, the dollar size in your eyes.
Oh, yeah. And Darkness Crystal. Sylverfyre found the Darkness Crystal in the Lunar Subterranean. I'm sorry, in the underground summon location.
Yeah, that's really big. The Darkness Crystal is obviously going to be necessary. Actually, no, I take that back. We don't have any required quests. It's the boss Bahamut they're looking for, not the Bahamut spot. So,
which may be in a moon boss spot.
Exactly,
so
yeah. Could very well be on the moon, right.
Possibly have to go there. And there is a free character check in case there's Edge. And did I just see Edge behind Sand Ruby?
You did indeed. So Edge is definitely there. Sand Ruby will complete another objective.
So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. And Pidge is hoping to cash in that Cecil, making the way up ordeals here.
Now, since we don't have any banned characters or anything like that in this particular seed, there is going to be one duplicate character. We know who that duplicate character is, though. It is Rydia, because of having to find a Rydia. So unless I'm misunderstanding, that has to be the only place Edge can be, which would mean Sand Ruby is going to be required for the seed.
And that also tells them that they don't, once they see that Darkness Crystal, that they don't need to rush to the moon to check that character spot.
Right, yeah, it could be a big character that would be helpful right now, but their party's getting along well enough without some additional strength, so maybe checking the moon for that character on the lunar dais, not an immediate concern for them when they know that Edge is hanging out in Kaipo.
Netara's making her way up ordeals as well, facing down her little friend Derek Mist.
Yeah, ordinarily this would be something you'd really like to see, is demist while going up ordeals, because that means you're going to get 2 key item checks out of this, one from the Mist Dragon and one from ordeals itself. Fortunately, we do have that free key item available from Edward, which eliminates the demist giving another key item. So just another boss in this flag set.
And Moonblaze, fearing he's avoided Antlion long enough, has decided to make the dive. While Syl is close to finishing up in the Land of Summon Monsters. And we see Octomom, so again, not a boss that we needed to knock out. So no required bosses on ordeals yet.
Octomam, very straightforward fight. Gets slower the more you attack it. Every 3 attacks that land on it eliminate one of the tentacles and slow its agility. With the availability of the Sylph Smell and the damage going out from all these Dancing Daggers and regular attacks, this should be very, very manageable. So I don't expect Pidge or Netara to have much trouble here.
And still just doing some quick item checks and some shopping.
Yeah, please pay attention to Sylph Screen. We might have the most important check of the game here.
Chemistry professor.
Very, very important. So sylverfyre has validated their run, checking the job dwarf there. Very, very important. That dwarf has a random job every time you play the game, and it's important that you check it, or else you won't know what the dwarven job market's looking like. There's the Shake. Octomam is down for Pidge. Gonna get our first look inside of the Cluya Shrine and see what is available from the key item spot there.
Meanwhile, Moonblaze is going to be our second racer to hit the underground.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see this pretty massive divergence pretty early from those that have decided to chase the Magma Key, those that have decided to get ordeals out of the way. Both very, very valid plays. A lot of times you like to see when you're playing this, you tend to devalue ordeals a lot. But like we mentioned, in these objective seeds that tend to be reward the longer play more, ordeals is a much, much more likely play to make, just because you got all those bosses to check, you've got the key item, you've got the potential of a late game Paladin Cecil. And oh wow, that is the big payoff there. That's the pan. And we do need to wake Yang up, so ordeals is required tonight.
Good deal. And no required bosses, however. But the pan is on ordeals, meaning ordeals is a required check for this seed.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very nice for both Netara and Pidge. They're going to get a key item from hitting Yang with the pan. The Sylphs will give them a key item there. They'll get 2 key items from checking in with Sheila afterwards, and they'll get an objective done.
Netara and Pidge both finishing up ordeals here. Moonblaze doing some item checks, and Syl has come above to claim Rydia and take care of the Baron in spot.
Also, another thing you'll like to see here from this ordeals check is Cagnazzo getting out of the way. That is a boss that, depending on what spot you find him in, especially high agility spots, can be an incredible pain. So
just a troll, this Cagnazzo.
Absolutely.
Just a troll. I hate him.
Just the literal worst. But yeah, him just being in this very easy spot in ordeals, he's out of the way. That's one less incredible pain you have to deal with later. Ogopogo's still there, so we're not completely out of the woods. But
I mean, I get he's just doing his turtle things, and maybe I'm bad at video games, but
I mean, we could take a moment to go from the absolute worst to the absolute best. We did get a couple of donations here as well.
go right ahead.
We got $5 from Marish with no message, but thank you very much. And we have $60 from AIM. Thank you to all the mods and volunteers. Y'all are amazing for making this possible. Well, AIM, thank you as well for your generous donation.
thanks so much, AIM.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Dan. Alright. Moonblaze making his way down to the land of summoned monsters is hot on the trail of that darkness crystal.
Yeah, Pidge going right into the underground as well. Netara probably going to be right on her heels. Wanted to turn that pan in and see what kind of value it has.
And it looks as though Netara hasn't claimed the Magma Key yet.
Oh, goodness. Scala Kitty in chat letting us know. We have a never heard before harp song in this seed tonight. So
we're getting hype.
let's hope we get that twin harp sooner rather than later and get to hear that harp check. I'm excited now.
Yeah, actually sitting in chat right now is Comlamity, who does the composition work for that at this time. So thank you.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you, Calamity.
Yeah, huge shout outs to Comlamity. If you've never played Free Enterprise before, we do a lot of little randomized Easter eggs in here for fun. One of which is the song that Edward plays during the cutscene in Cave Magnus, where he saves the party from the Dark Elf, is randomized. So instead of the normal loot song, there are hundreds of MIDI versions of video game music, pop culture music, all sorts of stuff that can pop up instead. Always a treat to find out what turns up and gets that nice harp synthesization going on. So yeah, definitely be hyped once we find that twin harp.
So Calamity, I have the question everybody's thinking, and everybody's going to know. Is it possible to put in a bit crushed version of a Scala Kitty laugh as a harp song? Asking for a friend.
The friend is indeed all of us.
The harp song is the friends we made along the way.
I don't believe you.
Not the worst Fame Arch bosses to find there. We've got the Baron Guards, which do not have the boss bit, so they can be cheesed with some status effects. Things like coffins can instantly kill them, so that can be gotten through fairly easily. The other thing that we have is the Karate Man fight, or Yang, when he's brainwashed in Baron Inn, and that has a storyline trigger for defeating it. After round 2, an attack from Paladin Cecil will immediately end the fight in victory. That's big for Netara and Pidge, who both have a Paladin Cecil. They might be able to get through the entirety of the Fame Arch in one go.
And Syl, meanwhile, has found a beard in the moon character spot. Claimed an old man for the party.
Maybe not the beard that you want to see on the moon. There's another much whiter, much more powerful beard, but I'm a fan of Sid, especially early in the game. Early in the game, Sid can be very, very useful. Can be really helpful for carrying a lot of the early game fights. Later in the game, his usefulness kind of dies off in the conventional sense, but he's still really good in the fact that his hit point growth is through the roof. He can be a very effective just item user for the rest of your team. And if you want to get into the bizarre alchemy that is agility anchoring, Sid is one of the best, with one of the lowest agilities in the game. He'll be very good at using to manipulate enemies' speeds alongside of that.
And Natara's come to claim Rydia and a crystal mail for her troubles.
And up on sylverfyre screen, I want to point this out because I really like this play. So this is a fight you don't really see too often. We affectionately call these the hair dryers. But this is a trap chest on the moon. And what Syl is doing here is, since Syl had access to an hourglass to freeze everything in the fight, Syl is going to go through do this fight, which is worth a large amount of experience for this point in the game, and use that life glitch we talked about earlier to get as much XP out of this as possible. This is going to give them a huge bump in levels very early, and potentially some good loot out of the chest itself. So this is a really, really strong play. I really like this.
And I always have to point out, because I love when I see it too, the efficient use of menuing while animations are happening there. Just love to see that.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it myself, so I always like to see when somebody is actually doing it.
Yeah. Taking this time during animations to move items around, make them a little more convenient, get the stuff that you don't need out of the way. Good stuff. And Netara has finished the Baron in spot. Looks like Pidge is turning in Pan to Sheila.
And we'll see what our rewards are from this. Very exciting here, because this could really open a lot of things for Pidge here.
Adamant, unfortunately not particularly useful, and a Cure 3. So both items Cure 3 is good and all, but not particularly what we're looking for here.
Yeah, there's nothing that gives immediate progress, but I wouldn't count out that adamant just now, especially since Pidge has that Paladin Cecil ready to go. As you're hunting down key items, she's just a legend sword away from being able to forge an Excalibur. She's the second best sword in the game for Cecil. It makes him an incredible damage powerhouse, and it opens up the Coco Forge shop, which has some incredibly high-tier items for sale that can really help kit out your party in the late game. So, while nothing immediately useful towards progressing in the seed, very, very potentially useful for setting up for the Zeromus fight at the end of the game.
Now, may I cut in here for a moment?
Go right ahead.
Because we had a request after to explain what is the Scala laugh, and it's literally just my laugh. It's just,
what's the Scala laugh? I've never heard that before.
It's just that.
Is this a recording?
Oh my god. This is so new. I've never heard this before.
There. Calm, somehow figure out how to make a Sinest do that.
I need that bit crushed and somehow made into a harp form.
Alright, I'm gonna let you all get back to doing actual stuff, and
I will pay cash money to make this happen.
Yeah, once we get that properly digitized, we need to make a hacker 6 that will have his laugh with that.
Yeah, instead of victory music, you just do the Skull Kitty laugh every time.
No, I like the idea of being the Kefka laugh. Yeah, exactly. Much better.
Scala, there's sand on your boots.
There is sand on my boots. I need like other I don't know. Other Kefka.
Yeah, we had a nice professional setup going here, and now I don't even know what's happening.
No, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out before we get like deep down into the side thing.
Before we go full Valkyries on you here and end up in Final Fantasy V somewhere.
It's instead of Battle on Big Bridge, it's just Scala laughing over and over.
Ask me after the stream about the troll version of that song. Anyway, I'm going to let you get back to doing good things.
Ladies and gentlemen, the inimitable Scala Kitty. Thank you very much.
Alright, what's happening with people playing Final Fantasy? I forget.
They're doing stuff they've already done before. Demarine, anything going on in the donation?
I mean, there's nothing going on in the donations right now. We are $125 away from $6,000, and anybody who's ever donated to a Valkyrie Marathon knows that in the secret background, which I cannot talk about very much, except I am going to tell you that there is some planning going on in the background, plotting even possibly, for what we're going to start doing for stretch goals. I've offered up something already, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. For goals, we are running Ultima 6 tomorrow. Squibbin's going to be running Ultima 6. We just need $14 to kill Lord British. Richard Garriott's a jerk. We should kill him. And we have Vanguard Bandits and Illusion of Gaia as well. Vanguard Bandits, there are 2 open goals right now. Appreciate the opening movie, which is $90. We don't have anything there yet. 35 100 towards the extra dramatic final boss fight, which I highly recommend. And for Illusion of Gaia randomizer, Glitch Witch wants to show off the new upgraded final boss, Apocalypse Gaia. $35 more will get us there for that as well. So, again, thank you all for your generosity, and let's see if we can get to 6,000 before the end of this run.
Awesome, thank you so much.
That would be amazing. Please let me show everyone the opening to Vanguard Bandits.
Yes, I need some extra dramatic final boss fight.
And also the extra dramatic final boss fight, but especially the opening. The opening is 100% worth that amount of money, because that's about how much they spent on that opening. If you want to know more, donate. Okay, now for real, dropping out.
Animated with MS Paint. Alright, so Final Fantasy things. So we got Octobomb over here. I know my pro commentary kicking in here. And Pidge is taking on Ashura. So a lot of what we've seen, just kind of crossing some paths here. Crossing some T's, dotting some I's.
Yeah, just we had basically 2 routes that kind of our runners split into from the get-go. Now they're sort of crossing back over here. Netara finally using the magma key here to go underground and probably cash in that pan on Young. So yeah, it's starting to look like we're going to have to start delving into some of these underground quests soon. I imagine that's what most of our runners are going to sort of converge on next, are those underground bosses and other underground key item checks. The moon is also open as well. I don't think anyone's feeling quite bold enough to do that, though. Sylverfyre grabbing that Excal with about to be upgraded Cecil might be feeling maybe feeling bold enough to start making plays up there.
Feeling a little squirrely. All right, Moonblaze has finished off the Octomom. And all of the boomers have learned Meteo wherever they are.
I'm glad the boomer incentive has carried over between Final Fantasy. I can cast Meteo now. Okay, boom. It's okay. The boomers don't have enough in their retirement to actually cast Meteo.
And Pidge unlocking a lunar whale. Getting ready to make some plays on the moon, hopefully.
Yeah, probably gonna go check out that free character, find an engineer up there, and maybe check out the Hummingway shop. Which did we get anyone peek in there? I can't recall if there was anything particularly noteworthy in the Hummingway shop.
What's going to happen is you're going to say, "Dad, you learned Meteo?" And then he's immediately going to jump up and start doing the Meteo. And sing the song involved as well. And after breaking such a sweat, I'm going to wash it down with a nice cold burst.
I'm drinking an energy drink called Burst. Now, Sylverfyre's in the Sylph Cave, checking trap chests here. Very interesting. Might have been just doing it to slingshot one of those Rydias in XP, potentially.
Perhaps.
It's a Masamune for their troubles, which is going to be great once they get that edge recruited.
And we have to get an edge to finish, so that Mass Moon can be quite useful.
Absolutely.
Also, while we're getting a little bit of backtracking, we did just see a $14 donation come in from Hello Allison to put the final kibosh on Lord British. So Lord British will die.
Finally.
Farewell, Lord British. We hardly knew ye.
Totally had it coming.
He really did, let's be honest. He's a terrible king. Good question in chat. Where's the Darkness Crystal and Natara's Mist? That was in the Fey March free chest, so she is about to come grab it now.
And still having already done the ordeals check, has I guess decided Cecil is worth it now. Is going to go ahead and do the package check.
I just noticed that it's appropriate that there's a bunch of white mages coming out of the package here. It's like Demarine herself is wrecking the town today.
She's just raining down holy heck.
Look, if you're gonna troll me, I'm going to troll you back.
When are we doing the cutoff for that incentive, by the way?
Oh, that incentive is set and gone already. They have the Troll Demarine seed already in hand.
Looking forward to that. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's a seed.
Yeah, something we should probably mention to chat here while our runners are sort of each other's tracks here. We did have a donation incentive for what the Zeroma sprite was going to be tonight. We typically randomize the Zeroma sprite from an enormous pool of sprites, largely curated by the one and only Scala Kitty. So it's always fun. We don't change anything about the Zeromus fight, just the appearance of Zeromus himself. We don't know exactly what the sprite is going to be, but you voted for a sprite that will troll Demarine. So stick around for the end of this run to find out exactly what that means.
All right, and 3 of our racers are underground now. Netara just having found the darkness crystal, and still finishing up the package check.
Yeah, I'm wondering if moonblazewolf is going to make a play on Dwarf Castle here. Yeah, looks like that is where he's headed. So this is going to be 2 boss checks, 1 key item check. And we'll also grow up all of our Rydias here. That's going to fill out their spell list with some of their mid-tier spells, which aren't enormously useful. Does do some other little things, like adult Rydia can actually use the Zeus Gauntlet, and young Rydia can't. So if you want a warrior-based Rydia with a Dragon Whip, make sure you grow her up. And this should not be a terribly difficult fight at all. This is the Kaipo guards. With the HP of the spot split amongst them, and a very small percentage given to the actual guards themselves, any kind of AoE is going to sort of wipe the floor with them here.
And some of the eagle-eyed among you might have noticed that after getting Cecil there, that Sylverfyre equipped a Dwarf Axe and then equipped Excalibur. And if you're wondering why, that enables what we call kind of a back row glitch that will enable Cecil to have the same attack power from the back row, even using Excalibur.
Yeah, one of those programming oversights in Final Fantasy. Imagine that, a Final Fantasy with with bugs in it. But
programming oversights, I don't believe it.
Yeah. So the game will actually check to make sure that it turns on what we call the back row bit for characters, but there's never any check in the game to turn it off. So once a character has equipped an item that is usable from the back row and can target the back row at full damage, they can do that with any weapon they equip whatsoever. So the Dwarf Axe is a very quick way to do that with most melee characters. Characters like Cecil and Cid can also do it with bows. The Dwarf Axe is also notable in that it is the only back row weapon that Kain can equip. So usually good to find that if you're using a party with Kain. Unfortunately for poor Yang cannot equip a single item that has the back row bit, so he can never be back row glitched, which is another reason he's maybe not as useful as some of the other frontline fighters.
Wait, there is a way to back row glitch Yang, though. It just requires sneak glitch with Edge to equip a harp to Yang, and then Yang gets the back row bit if he uses the harp.
Easy.
Well, excuse me, I am kicking myself off commentary because I've never heard of that before. What enemy do you have to steal? Do you have to sneak a harp from? That's very interesting.
Jeez. I think it's one of the ogres, if my memory serves.
Huh, that is nuts.
I'd have to check, because I'm not 100% sure. Antidale's saying Lemia's.
Okay. Yeah, you learn something new about this game every day, I swear. There's just so much to unpack in Free Enterprise. It's what makes it so much fun to play.
Yeah. Moonblaze has found Pain Man, surviving the onslaught here, while Netara is taking out the first Dwarf Castle boss.
And every time we refer to Dark Knight Cecil as Pain Man, we do owe $5 to Pitch01, as that was her creation.
And you're seeing just how, on Netara's screen in the top left, just how handy that soul spell is here.
Yeah, just getting your all-in-one damage and healing all in a very convenient 0 MP spell is just a really, really nice thing for Rydia. I like to think of Rydia often as sort of the early game equivalent to Cecil, in that her usefulness is very much tied onto what equipment you can find. In this case, in the form of those high-level summon spells, that Sylph, things like that. Whereas Cecil is sort of a late-game powerhouse based on like finding late-game gear for him, such as Excalibur, Crystal Swords, things like that. If you can find them, and having that really great spell available on Hobbs was such a huge boon and such a Rydia-focused scene. Rydia-focused seed, so yeah, you can really see how much more useful she is when you have the proper tools for her.
And it looks like Dwarf Castle is required. We have found the Baron key there. So we will need that in order to take on the Odin spot in Baron Castle.
Yep, we've got a character to get in Baron Castle and 2 bosses. Character not quite as important since we know where Edge is, but with the key items you got to get there, and the 2 bosses, and another key item in the Odin spot, required Odin spot, yeah, that's a lot of value in that Baron key.
Looks like Moonblaze has decided to really go cash that in, potentially.
A question in chat from Firebird Lover. Will we also see the Dark Castle glitch? We do have that glitch disabled for this particular flag set, but for the curious, you can, if that glitch is enabled, after defeating the bosses and heading back into King Jihad's chamber, you can use the warp spell to take you back into the crystal chamber, and it will incorrectly bring you to the crystal chamber inside of the sealed cave, which lets you loot the key item from there, and then walk right back into the Dwarven Castle. So if you have a character with warp, it can be very useful to just completely bypass the sealed cave and just grab its item right from there.
And our other 3 racers here just all in line fishing this Dwarf Castle check.
And getting the speech about justice here, and Sylverfyre will be finished as well. Probably going to be following Moonblazewolf directly up in Baron Castle. So that's going to be a really juicy check there.
Someday you will see.
He is correct. Justice is not the only right. There is... Now we'll get to see if this was the Water Hag or the Football Gauntlet. If it's the latter, we might be here for a little while.
Looks like Pidge was going to go to Troya, but thought better of it, decided to book it to Baron instead.
And yeah, it is the Fabul Gauntlet at the Baigen spot, so I hope Moonblazewolf has some reading material or some Twitter threads to catch up on here.
Again, furiously holding the A button.
Yeah, sadly, I'm not seeing a lot of really strong AoE in that party. So, oh no, it does have that Titan spell, that's right. It did do Dwarf Castle. Rydia does get those mid-tier summon spells, so probably going to be a much quicker way to get through this than just individually attacking every enemy. So.
Yeah, I believe with the levels that Sylverfyre has at this point, they have Virus as well. So when they reach that point, they'll have some more AoE to throw.
Yeah, very good point. With the low HP totals on each of the individual things, Virus not usually something you multicast, but you can, and it will still probably one-shot everything. Yeah, with all this Titan summoning, Demarine is very right. Would be a good song to be playing right now. Shout out to the 14 players out there.
Netara and Pidge both booking it to Baron here. See if Sylverfyre is quick to follow.
Yeah, it's going to be a real big convergence on Baron Castle here. There are still some other checks that can be made underground. We've still got the 2 bosses in the Feymarch. We've got the Tower of Babel that can be checked. A lot of runners don't like to do Tower of Babel keyless, but it can pay off. But yeah, just with how juicy this Baron Castle, and I don't blame everyone for going straight there after grabbing that key from Dwarf Castle.
And of course, we got the big bad moon bosses as well. Though I can definitely understand why they're avoiding him for now.
Yeah, this is not a bad team that our runners have assembled here. We've got some strong white magic support with Rosa. We've got some strong damage from Rydia with that Sylph spell. Palom's going to be coming into his own with magic as well. So, and for those that have gone to actually get Cecil, there's an Excal on the table for him as well. So, the moon is becoming more and more attractive. But yeah, with all of these easy checks that have a lot of potential payout here early, still probably wanting to put that off until it becomes the strength of the fight sort of is outweighed by just how lucrative they can be.
And CPU.
Yeah, ordinarily this can be a pain when you're doing when you're relying on as much magic damage as you are. But the nice thing about the Sylph spell and most summons is that they go right through Reflect, which CPU sets up on itself. So all they need to do is take out that remedy, and Moonblazewolf will be hitting the CPU very easily here.
So, of course, both of these fights are terrible slogs, so just to let everybody know, we did get one donation as well from Garby the Glitterous. Hi, Garby! Who says, "Good luck, everyone. I put this towards Apocalypse Gaia in the Illusion of Gaia randomizer."
Thanks, Garby.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
And the HP in this spot's relatively low as well, so definitely makes it a much easier fight.
Yeah, handy trick if you don't have the HP values for all the individual spots memorized and you run into CPU and you want to sort of gauge your ability to take it out. That first remedy that the lower bit is almost certainly going to get off will always heal for 10% of the maximum health of the main CPU. So that'll give you a good indication of how much health it has and sort of gauge how much damage you can put out and see if it's worth doing it or not. Now there's an Edward, but it's not the Edward we were hoping.
Moonblaze is going for it though, going for those spoon strats, or maybe an agility anchor.
Yeah, we do have the spoon flag on. It's a fun little flag that we've added to guys. Make some more use out of Edward and that spoon key item, which is normally just thrown by Edge. It becomes Edward's ultimate weapon, a 255 attack power weapon. Can only be equipped by Edward. It turns him into the very definition of a glass cannon. A lot of fun to use, and not in a lot of official league matches. It's not something that's often turned on. We do have it on tonight, so you gotta get to see some spoon work.
Let's see what that spot has for us. And that's a twin harp.
Music.
We got two, y'all.
Not even bothering to stick around and see what Odin is like. Moonblaze people.
Man of the people, Moonblazewolf, heading straight there with Bard in tow.
And everyone, tonight you are in for a special treat. As had been pointed out earlier, this is going to be a never before seen, or heard, I should say, harp song tonight. So this is going to be a world premiere broadcast by the Bard. So get your volume cranked up and get ready for this.
And then politely tell us what it is, because we have it muted.
Oh, I'm turning it on to find out. I'm not waiting. I will mute Discord so I can hear harp music.
I'll straight up leave. I don't even care. Okay, I'll unmute. So while we're getting to that spot, there's Light in chat asking. So the Rydia flags we were using is, of course, we're starting with Rydia. One of the objectives was to get Rydia, which everyone has accomplished. One of the other ones is to get Edge, defeat Bahamut, defeat Golbez, wake Yang with a pan, and defeat the Baron Castle basement throne.
If you want some more detailed specifics of the flags, I went ahead and put it in chat for everybody there.
Dropping the deets.
Got all them deets. And taking enough damage there so that we can skip the end of the cutscene. So we're going to send it over to Edward here for a debut performance and shut up on our end. So enjoy the music, folks.
We can cut back in now.
What a treat that was.
Goodness. I feel like this seed was made just for me. That is legitimately one of my favorite songs for Final Fantasy VI, the grand finale. Like Calamity and said in chat, it gets like 10 seconds of love during a Final Fantasy run. Such a great song. So underrated. And fantastic to see it in Free Enterprise.
I feel like Netara is going to flip when she finally gets there.
Oh, that was so good.
Golden. And a pink tail.
I will say just real quick. So when it came time to figure out what song we were going to do for this marathon, I said to Calm, I'm like, well, I know you did this. I have heard a few of the upcoming harp songs. They're all amazing, but I can't reveal any other ones. I'm like, and then we were like looking at the schedule, like, oh, wait a second, we have Final Fantasy VI twice on this day. I think we need more Final Fantasy VI. Always. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. We'll be adding more songs to the pool soon. So I'll let y'all enjoy it once more. I'll be looking for those reprisals for y'all.
Yep. Very quickly before the next reprise kicks in, though, in about a moment here, as Syl is about to get murdered by Dark Elf, we did just get a $100 donation from Instant, saying, wishing all the runners the best at RPG Limit Break. I know Possum will be running at RPG Limit Break. Sylverfyre will be running at RPG Limit Break as well. We thank you for the donation that has pushed us over $6,000, so thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much, everyone. That's amazing.
That's incredible. That is the second goal that has been hit here for RPGs We Love 3. That is fantastic. We're not even halfway through the week. huge shout out to everybody watching and the incredible generosity of getting the Volks out to RPG Limit Break.
So amazing.
Really awesome to see. So just thank you everybody for coming together.
Week's halfway over. Already beat the goal from last year. Or beat the total from last year. Just awesome. And of course, we're all happy to volunteer and donate and help because the Valkyries are just awesome people.
Yeah.
All right, Scala's also running. Sorry, Scala.
It's okay. When they announced it, they're like, decide who's actually going to be running this race. Yes, I will be running Loom. So,
Excellent.
Boom hype.
So yeah, we mentioned that keyless tower before, and it looks like that is next on moonblazewolf's agenda. Doing some of these trap chests here, probably maybe looking for a little bit of extra loot. They're very easy chests to deal with, and the way trap chests work in free enterprise means they can be very profitable. So this is a very heads-up play here by Moonblaze.
It looks like Pidge is taking on the summon fights. And having to take a reset.
Yeah, those bosses can be cheesed with status effects, but they're still very, very difficult. They still hit very hard. It's a very fast spot. So if you can't get them out and neutralize them early, they can beat up on you very quickly.
Yeah, you gotta get that status effect out before your characters get one hit KO.
Yeah, the nice thing about these guards, though, is they don't have any kind of so as long as you can take a hit, and this is actually keeping everybody at that one hit point except for Cecil, letting him take a couple of hits. Oh gosh, it still might not be enough. I might need to see some agility manipulation or some battle speed manipulation here on Pidge's part to get through this. Pidge hitting that armor shot, maybe looking to see if there's something that can help Cecil live a little longer. Yeah, just gonna cut her losses and come back later.
I didn't notice it. Did Pidge have Cecil in the back row? I didn't notice.
Yeah, Cecil was in the back row and was still getting hit that hard. It's kind of a testament to just how strong that spot can be.
Pidge deciding to change up her tune here.
Here you get all four of our runners doing the harp check. It is not necessary; it just gets a pink tail, but still, we get to hear the finale 4 times tonight, and I don't think anybody's going to argue with that.
Throwing Leviathan in the mix.
Yeah, that's a very nice pickup there from that chest. That's going to extend Rydia's usefulness into the late game here. Being able to hit for very high damage every enemy on the field. It's going to put her on par with Palom, give or take. Palom gets very early access to that Quake spell which hits the entire field without damage reduction. Ooh, and that's Bahamut.
Yeah, I say not to cut you off, but we got Wyvern.
Wyvern,
right? In the Odin spot, so Wyvern is required. However, good to note that we have the Witchburn flag on, I believe. Yes. So the opening Mega Nuke is replaced with a random attack, thankfully. But doesn't make it free by any means.
Yeah, it's still, Wyvern still hits hard. It's going to go into that cycle casting nukes off of itself. The one nice thing about that is that it cannot do anything that is multi-target from this point on. So you can only kill one character a turn. Should allow them to get enough damage out to get through this fight. Just going to have to start picking up dead party members one by one here.
And Netara also hitting up the Odin spot. And this is a key item spot as well, correct?
That is right. Yeah. So yeah, the summon quest rewards the moon bosses and the regular key item spots all could potentially have key item spots. Of course, the big key item we're looking for at this point is the sand ruby. Once that is in hand, they will have everything they need, more or less, to beat this seed, unless Bahamut and Golbez are hiding behind other key items.
Which, we're narrowing down the boss pool. Finding Golbez or Bahamut on the moon is starting to look very likely.
Yeah, right you are. We've got the tower key can hold one boss. We've seen the boss behind the back edge. The earth crystal has two bosses that could be behind it. And, of course, the hook has two bosses behind it. We're just getting a look here. It looks like Rubicante or the elements. Couldn't exactly tell which. But that's one of the bosses that's going to be in the hook route. We don't know what is in the Pink Queen Emblem spot in the hook route. That is still in the air. Could be one of the bosses that we need. So any of those key items could potentially lead to the bosses that we need. If they don't, then they're hiding out on the moon. Oh, excuse me, I forgot also the Luca key could lead to the boss in the sealed cave, which could also potentially be it.
And Moonblaze has found Calbrena on top of the tower.
Yeah, really good boss to see once you've already picked up that Leviathan, you Quake and Palom. That is no problem whatsoever.
And unfortunately, an assassin dagger. Not what he was wanting to say.
Yeah, very limited usefulness at this late in the run. You might maybe try to sneak in some swoons in the Fey March on the Baron Guards if you were really trying to get through that fight. But yeah, other than that, it looks like the Keyless Tower really did not pay off.
It's always a gamble, but I love seeing the play either way.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite plays to see, just because there's a lot of hesitance to run tower when you don't have that key, but there's you can get some nice things out of the trap chest if you're looking for gear, and you can also get some really key information because you do get a peek at the Rubicante spot by looking behind the Dr. Luge spot during that cutscene. So if you're doing a boss hunt, you might be able to sneak a peek at something you want later, or it could help you determine, well, that's one less boss that we'll have to look at there. It's going to make going down the hook route a little less appealing if I'm just hunting bosses. So that's going to leave both Fey March bosses as the only currently accessible things that we haven't seen on the Blue Planet, unless I have missed something here.
Yeah, it looks like Moonblaze is deciding to take him on. Take a gamble here.
Yeah, the moon is such a time investment commitment things there. So Moonblazewolf wanting to make sure he has done everything he possibly can planet side before committing to that moon play. I think he's in a very strong position with the composition and strength of his party for taking on bosses on the moon. But yeah, right now it's just a matter of wanting to route this efficiently as possible, wanting to make sure that he is spending all of his time wisely rather than just making a blind gamble and hoping everything he needs is...
Diving right in. And Syl's heading to the moon.
And we saw Pidge struggle with this fight a little bit. Let's see how Moonblazewolf approaches it. He's got those hourglasses ready to go, got it queued up. So two members are down. Let's see if the guards got another attack queued up. It looks like they did not. Okay, so great. Moonblazewolf is pretty much in the clear at this point, yeah.
And we can take advantage of that wonderful life glitch here to get some extra experience, and there is quite a bit of experience in this spot. So it's a great place to take advantage of that glitch.
Yeah, very heads up, very something that you can just kind of forget about in the heat of the moment. But yeah, Moonblazewolf, veteran of Free Enterprise, throwing that out there to get some free XP and help on his potential moon quest here in a little bit. Berserk Spoonwork. You'll love to see it.
The real MVP. Which I said that kind of jokingly, but he's a real MVP.
Really? Well, Sylverfyre grabbing a random chest on the way down the lunar subterranean, getting that incredibly nasty double dragons fight. Perhaps one of the nastiest encounters in the game. I like the boldness of it, because with this pro randomization for treasures, those lunar subterranean treasure chests could have some really nice equipment. But yeah, that is not a fight you want to run into if you don't have to. And just a Bahamut spell from the fight there with the Baron Guards, but with Rydia in the party, that is definitely something you like to see. That is an enormous amount of damage. It's going to keep Rydia relevant into the end game. So yeah, we've actually seen a lot of really good Rydia love as far as the items being distributed here are going. Going to get her a Stardust Rod now.
Blaze, I think, doing a quick safety save here. Still gonna have to make the run back down after the dragons didn't go their way.
Yeah, so Moonblazewolf does not have Paladin Cecil, so won't be able to take advantage of that storyline trigger that can immediately end this fight with Yang. Gonna have to do it the honest way and get all the way through the fight. There's gonna be a lot of physical damage that Yang can put out very, very quickly at this spot. So it's gonna have to be very proactive with the healing, and is gonna have to have a large damage output to get through this. So let's see how Moonblazewolf decides to handle it.
Some illusions, and I'm gonna put that Berserk Edward to work.
Yeah, I like this. Very strong play, knowing where his and every attack on Edward at this point is oof. Yeah, that
takes too much.
Yeah, this is probably one of the scariest places you could possibly see Yang as a boss. And yeah, Moonblazewolf might be done with this.
Open out.
Well, maybe Pig will get something exciting. But speaking of exciting things, we do have $10 from the Free Enterprise community's own Maggie the Cat. So thank you, Maggie. Hello, Valkyries and Free Enterprise family. Good luck to the runners on tonight's race. Put this towards runner-up's choice.
Well, that was a nice consolation prize, courtesy of Maggie. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Maggie. And unfortunately, I do need to step away for just a moment. Sincere apologies. Denver, if you have a moment to tag in, if you don't mind, up to you. But I will be right back.
Time for distractions!
Do not look at the man behind the curtain.
I am no man.
Thank you, Tim.
Getting through that Warlock and Defossil fight here. That's going to be a large experience for Sylverfyre. Getting them kind of up and going as they continue their lunar expedition here. And a Murasame for their troubles. So
Hanzo Steel.
Yeah, once they get that Sand Ruby and get Edge in their party, that's a Masamune and a Murasame. So really good gear.
But yeah, it looks like Blaze is going to double back for the Odin spot. Netara is dealing with these encounter chests in Keyless Tower. Pidge is still trying to clean out the last fight here from Castle Eblin. Have we seen anything interesting from down there?
I haven't seen anything specifically, but this is the last one, so there's going to be something good here. It's got to be.
Yep, Netara just hit that Leviathan there, so she's getting access to the Big Mad.
And there's a virus for Rydia for Pidge, so... Ooh, a White Lance. No cane in sight, though, but... Ooh, Syl's running into a lot of trouble here in this double warlock, double carry fight.
Gonna stick the mute at least, so gonna keep that warlock on lockdown now.
Yeah, I do like that the Cecil's back road here. So throwing out life, hitting the back up, hopefully in a critical status means Cecil's going to be automatically covering them. Should help for a very smooth recovery process here, getting back into things.
Yeah, looks like Pidge is in the process of cashing out here, trying to make some money. It's going to be sitting on about 200 large here at this point. Possibly more.
Alright, I have returned.
Welcome
Alright, I'm out.
Great job, Demarine.
And apologies.
Demarine, everybody.
Just the best.
And Palom is back up, and that should hopefully mean the Warlock is not long for this world.
Oof, looks like Moonblaze having some struggles with Wyvern there.
Yeah, big XP there from finishing that fight off.
Looks like Pidge making her way to face Wyvern as well. While Syl's diving deeper into the Lunar Subterrae.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if Silver comfortable with the amount of experience they're at, and is just going to go right for those checks at the bottom of the subterranean. It seems like that's the case. Going to go right for the save point and maybe start doing some boss checks. Oh, actually going for the Wyvern spot first.
I dig it.
Yeah, you're kind of looking more for bosses here. There is the one key item in the form of the Sand Ruby that you want to fight, but yeah, might as well go ahead and get this out of the way, then head over and get the bigger boss concentration. Really no wrong way to wrap this.
Pro routing at its finest. And Lethlin, thank you so much for the raid.
Oh, and Pidge finding out firsthand that while Witchburn may be on, Wyvern is still going to counter any summon used against it with a Mega Nuke. So trying to get some healing in with that Sylph spell, and finding a face full of Dragonfire as a result. This is sort of one of the things you kind of, since you don't really get to play with Rydia with higher tier summons a lot in many of these seeds, it's easy to forget that a lot of these bosses actually have baked in counterattacks to Rydia's summon magic. Yeah, Wyvern is especially one of them. Can be really dangerous to use Rydia summons against some of these fights, and saw exactly why right there.
Sylverfyre is running to Mylon here in the Wyvern spot.
Really good encounter to run in this late. The only thing Mylon's capable of spamming that lit one, which yeah, is going to do that 1 point of damage. Just going to be more annoying than anything else. Wrapping up this fight is just a matter of throwing the damage out pretty accurate from that point.
And Netara, I think, is the first to finish off Karate.
So yeah, this could be a very important key item check here. Taking advantage of Cecil being the party, and she gets... Ooh. Alright, so Dave, you're in Netara's spot right now. You just got that Luca key. Do you chase it, or do you just sort of hold on to it, maybe check it later and do something else instead?
If my options on the table are Luca Key and Moon, or potentially Wyvern, I don't know if Netara checked that spot yet or not. Luca Key. I mean, like it's quick enough you can reset scum it. If it's not what you're looking for, you just reset. You can see what the item is, you can see what the boss is, you can nope out of either of them.
I'm just doing a quick key item check. Netara's got 9 key items. Now, I don't think we've seen sirens or anything like that. So the other thing that's on the table is maybe saving that Luca key to do a trapdoor grind. Not the greatest grind in the world, but might be one of the best options available to her. So, there's also that consideration about maybe holding on to the key till you get that 10th key item and can get double the experience out of those trapdoors. But yeah, other than that consideration, I'm kind of with you there. I would be wanting to go into the Luca cave, to do the sealed cave immediately afterwards.
And Moonblaze going after my heart here with the real play. We're doing some boss checks in Giant.
Oh, I love it. I love it very much. So yeah, there are 2 checks to be made here. The other option is moonblazewolf could also be a D-machine grind, though I don't think he has access to the weak spell yet. I know his Paladin's been getting up there, but I don't think he's quite high enough. Well, he's got encounters on. Maybe he is looking for the fight.
Or maybe forgot that he left it on.
Or, that's also a possibility. I do it all the time.
I don't think I've seen any Artemis arrows yet. Or maybe just not the encounter that he was looking for either. That might be it.
Yeah, leaving encounters on could be also a Mac Giant grind, could also be a potential.
Netara hanging in strong, using illusions to get through the guard fight here.
Really strong fight for a encounter that is usually just considered free. And that's Vanilla D Lunars on sylverfyre's screen there. Let's see if Sylv is going to just go for a regular fight or try to set up Reflected Frogs here. Oh, I see Rydia casting. I hope that isn't a summon spell.
Oh, it is.
I don't think this is going to turn out well. But it is going to undo a lot of the progress there.
Though, throwing up that Star Veil.
Get your croaks ready.
And the cover on Cecil, very smart move. And keep Rydia up that way.
That's 1. And doesn't get the back one, but that is 1, so you can start dealing with the only D-Lunar left while that frog sort of just piddles away ineffectively at the rest of the party. Moonblazewolf just not finding the encounters he is looking for here.
Pidgey, meanwhile, still struggling a little bit with Wyvern, but hanging in there.
I don't think we have seen Water Hag yet, so we could have the dream of Water Hag at the spot, and then all of this grinding might feel a little silly.
Unfortunately, despite taking down Karate, the guards provided some trouble for Netara. So, but I don't believe there was really anything important in that spot, was there?
It was the Bahamut spell, so yeah, not a progress blocker, but something nice for Rydia to have.
Yeah. So Netara regrouping. Sylverfyre going through a little bit of the slog at this point, but is very doable with D-Lunar at this point.
Yeah, it got set up where where they want to be, matter getting through the fight at this point.
Moonblaze is making the way through Giant. Still not running into the encounter he's hoping to find. And Pidge's hanging in there, not letting Wyvern get its way.
Yeah, this has been a very difficult fight for Pidge here. Just a real war of attrition. Now Wyvern can only take out one party member at a time, but it is a very fast spot here. It's being able to take out 2 party members before even a single life can go out. And yeah, getting the Rydia that had the life queued up, that's going to cost Pidge a lot more time.
And still got the rat tail.
And looks like Moonblazewolf has found his Mac Giant fight. So he's going to do a bit of a Mac Giant grind here. Sort of the lesser cousin of the D-Machine grind, but very useful if you don't have access to that weak spell.
And Netara's back for round 2 with the guard fight.
And Sylverfyre going to give us a peek at the Plague spot.
Definitely not going Netara's way in the opening round here, so I'm going to take a reset.
Yeah, just these Feymarch bosses can be such incredible challenges because their speed is so high, the damage output so high. Even like we said, like this fight, which is normally kind of considered a pushover because it's so easy to exploit its weaknesses, can really just be an absolute nightmare with those inflated stats.
And Leviathan here is quite doable with the lit 3 spells we have on hand.
Yeah, I don't expect too much trouble here from Sylverfyre. Has enough healing to get through the HP-based damage of the big waves. And yeah, doing a lot of damage with those lit 3s. Shouldn't be too long for the world here where Leviathan be. Oh, and we did have a question in chat that I'll look past over. The alternate coloring scheme for the characters is handcrafted. It is indeed. They're all custom palettes that are made by the community's own Scala Kitty. She goes in and has made several handcrafted palettes that can be activated for all of the characters. Many of them references to the video games, pop culture, things like that. They look fantastic. They used to be an optional flag you can turn on. Now they're turned on by default because everybody played with them all the time. So yeah, they're not like randomized palettes or anything. All of them are individually handcrafted, and it just calls up one of those palettes when you make a seed. It's a really, really cool feature. Power up to both for each character. That's crazy.
So well done. And
I can explain which ones we have tonight.
Oh, go right ahead.
The big one is actually Rydia, because Rydia is the main Rydia that we started with. She is from she's one of the ones from the season 3, or the new ones that are just in version 4.0. Is Rydia with the color palette of Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, I see that now.
I was thinking that. That's nice.
Yes. The other newest one is Rosa. Rosa has a Vaporwave palette.
Call back to Highway 2, the Zenith Zone.
Yes. Cecil is dressed as a FF1 warrior.
That one's my absolute favorite.
Yes.
I love that one.
Hallam, I believe, is just like a for fun one, because with the twins, it's sometimes a little hard to come up with ones that won't like overlap with each other. So Hallam's just a for fun, nice little blue and orange, kind of like a traditional black mage sort of palette. And then Edward, it's actually one of my personal favorites. That is Redward. But Redwood was actually the very first, one of the very first ones we did. Because when Ford originally came to me about this project, he said, I really want Edward to be a red mage. Can you make that happen? Because he loved the pun Redward.
I love it.
And so that's why that Edward has a very special place in my heart.
I love it.
A little
Alright.
behind the
That's
scenes
reasons
for
for
you all
something to do
tonight.
Little behind the scenes. All right, back to doing secrets in the background. But you all should actually be legit hype. We are discussing some very interesting things. But that's all I will say. I will turn to the shadows.
Thank you so much, Scholar.
And smoke pop.
I'm glad we got that information about Redwood because he just looked like a box of McDonald's French fries to me.
I kind of wish that's what it was.
Banned. Both of you are banned. I'm taking over this stream.
You are no. You are unbanned because that's hilarious. Also, you could just say he was the hot dog stand color scheme from like old Windows, like the ones that was bright red and bright yellow.
Oh gosh, I remember using that as a kid because I had no taste.
Yeah, so there you go. Now I made everyone in this chat feel old. You're welcome.
Also, from a commentary standpoint, because I think we're starting to lose the thread of the fight here, Netara found the tower key at the Luca key spot.
Yeah, that's important or something. Let's see what the boss is.
Gargants.
Okay, shouldn't be any problem getting through this fight, and then a quick check of that tower key could be that sand ruby that we've been hunting for, which will give us the edge we need to click that objective off.
And I think it's definitely worth noting too. Sylverfyre is getting a lot of levels here on the moon with these checks, and could potentially provide a pretty good edge.
Yeah, that's really big, especially in these seeds when you don't have easy access to a grind spot, and you sort of have to improvise to get experience on your characters. One of the advantages to doing a thorough clearing of the moon like this is that once you finally have done everything, you've got your crystal, you're ready to fight Zeromus, you usually find yourself at a position where you're strong enough to just sort of go into the fight. And that's definitely going to be a position Sylverfyre is going to find themselves in. Once they do finish everything off, they're going to have the levels they need. They can go right to that fight. They don't have to worry about any sort of extended grinding session. And wow, Water Hag and Ogopogo's fun.
The freest.
And did moonblazewolf just beat the element spot? I wasn't looking.
I believe so, yeah. Or no? Or yes?
We're getting conflicting information. Went back to save after the kill. Okay. I completely missed what boss it was, but it must have been something exploitable to be done with it so fast.
It was
Plague. Okay.
And Earth Crystal for Sylverfyre.
That's potentially big. That's 2 bosses that can be found behind that crystal. Oh, there's Bahamut. There's one of the bosses that we... Required Giant.
Required Giant. I love it. And it's Bahamut. Oh, this is the best.
If there is one thing the objective system has added to Free Enterprise, it seems to have quintupled the amount of troll seeds available. So yeah, if you are running this game, that is not a position you want to find a required boss.
Threw out the
Giant is
folks evil emotes in chat. That's just delightful.
Yeah, not a particularly difficult fight here. All of the reflects are up, going to reflect those mega nukes right back at Bahamut himself. And then it's just a matter of chipping away at his remaining HP. Netara is going to be the screen to watch now. This is going to be a check on the tower key to see what boss is hiding there. We still need to find Golbez somewhere. We still need to get that Sand Ruby to get Edge.
and Sylverfyre hitting the lunar substrate to clear one last boss. And it's Mom Bomb.
Not Golbez, but could still be hiding a potentially useful key item here. The hook could have a boss behind it we need. And, of course, the Sand Ruby is required. And before Sifu vetted it with Eddie strats.
Pogo Pogo. Easy boss here with the very low HP.
Yeah, very, very difficult boss normally, but yeah, very, very low HP here. Ogopogo can be taken care of with relative ease. If you want to see Ogopogo in your seed, you want to see him here. And looks like Pidge is doing some of those trapdoor grind strats we were talking about earlier.
It's a solid strat. And what did we see what the item was in that spot? I missed it.
We'll see when she exits the tower. Oh,
Ooh,
there's
we
the
have
Sand
Sand
Ruby.
Ruby.
So
Still got a solid edge right now.
yeah, that is a required pale dim spot.
Anybody like that pun there? They got a solid edge right now.
Very, very good, very good.
I'll be here all week.
I was just gonna let it go, but if you want to call attention to it, yeah. So all that is left that we need to see the path to complete this is we need to find out where Golbez is hiding.
Ooh, checking for value and Bahamut up next.
There's Golbez! We now know everything we need. There is value in Cave Bahamut tonight.
Oh. So our required at this point is Lunar Depths, Giant, Cave Bahamut.
Yeah, very, very vaunted moon. And Sylverfyre is moments away from finding out that information for themselves. There's the peak, there's Golbez, and Sylv's going.
Guess Shadow's full, so it's time to end it. See some Star Veils go up.
Yeah, the nice thing about Golbez is once he gets to this phase, all he does is cast magic. So Star Veil and all of your characters will fully protect them for as long as that Star Veil lasts. And yeah, not a very high magic power at this spot, so we shouldn't see too much trolling from Golbez here.
And it looks like Netara's ready to take her turn at Wyvern. Please don't ban me, Dem.
Wait, what? Why would I ban you?
Bad puns and rhymes.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. Go for it. There's only one thing that you'll get banned for at this point, and that's bad-mouthing Forum.
Well, luckily we haven't even seen Forum this seed, so we haven't had to say anything bad about it.
Yeah, that's why I've survived so far.
I'm sad, because Forum is named Rivers, because tradition continues forever.
So while everybody just sort of cleans up these fights, on your end of things, Demery?
Things are pretty quiet on my end of things right now. Again, just thank you all so much again for getting us to 6,000 during the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise run. Of note, there is secret planning secrets going on right now, and it's very secretive, and we can't really talk about it.
Yeah, there's so many secrets we can't talk about that I really should stop talking about the secrets, but there are secrets in play.
And we are not talking about them, we promise.
Yeah, absolutely not. No one would ever accuse me of talking about secrets.
Flexing so hard for these stretch goals.
What stretch goals? I've not said a word about stretch goals.
Those words have not been spoken on this stream, young man. Don't make me turn this stream around.
I was just talking about how my goal is to stretch more. I really, really need to stretch.
Scholar will pull this stream into the nearest McDonald's and order a single black coffee.
Yes.
I could really use a single black coffee right now. I've got to run at like 2:30 in the morning.
Make it a
Please donate towards my Odin Sphere run.
Who should we donate towards?
I've donated $6 towards Cornelius because I want the longest run possible so I could spend as much time with everybody, but all of the runs are good and powerful, and I could talk about all of them for an hour.
I've heard that we're supposed to continue to troll you specifically.
Oh, if you want to troll me specifically, I'm not gonna tell you. It's Oswald.
Now you all know, chat! Make use of that knowledge as you see fit.
There you go, more behind the scenes information on how to make Demery life off. We have a simultaneous clearing of gold beds here by Sylverfyre and Moonblaze as they exit here, and the scene is really starting to come together for the two of them.
Yeah, and they received a legend sword for their troubles. Not particularly useful at this point, but Golbez was necessary. Chameleus, I don't know what that means, but the answer is Grimace. And
That way,
looks like Sill's checking some random boss spots just in case.
so right now Sylverfyre still needs to find Bahamut, which we know is at the end of Giant. Moonblazewolf, has Moonblazewolf done everything? No, I don't think Moon has not gotten the Sand Ruby, so still needs to do the Pale Den.
Correct.
So once, and it looks like that might be heading down further in. So.
No.
Oh no, this is the Pale Dim spot. My mistake. So yeah, Moonblazewolf coming very close to go mode here.
With the top-down strats, come on.
Meanwhile, Sylverfyre is going to be the first one to get their ninja on. Oh, and it's a Naruto-colored edge tonight.
Now, it does count towards the objective if you don't take them, as long as you have the option. So, despite not taking edge, it still clears the objective.
Look, he had to get to that anime convention right away. He has so many doujinshi to buy, you don't understand. I say this as someone who owns Final Fantasy IV doujinshi from 1991.
Honestly, if we were going to say any of the characters in Final Fantasy for cosplay in their time, it would probably Edge.
It's 100% Edge. Believe it.
Wait, are we talking about cosplaying Final Fantasy characters at this point?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hide my collection of bandanas. It's not related.
I totally do not have an actual 2-scale black mage hat. You totally can't see it in our Discord in the selfie channel. Does not exist. Don't believe Ondor's lies.
I've never cosplayed a Final Fantasy character. Wind Waker Ganondorf, however.
That's it. At least 3 Valkyries have cosplayed Final Fantasy characters at some point.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Moonblaze is close to go mode.
Yeah, all Moonblaze has to do now is pick Edge up, and he'll be rewarded with a crystal.
And unfortunately, Earth Crystal kind of serving as a red herring here for Sylverfyre.
Yeah, we haven't seen the hook either. I'm guessing the hook probably comes from Earth Crystal at this point. So that might set Sylverfyre on a dangerous rabbit hole here that is not going to pay off. And just a couple of floating snake arms left to go. And Sylverfyre's done.
Looks like Moonblaze is diving back down, maybe looking to get some levels.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Now would be the time to do it. Rather, he already has the pass, rather than have to double dip back in. Yeah.
So this gives Sylverfyre some potential time to catch up after clearing Earth Crystal.
Welcome back, something or other. Yes, the goal was reached, but that's not going to be the last goal. We are told that there are secrets going on that we are not allowed to talk about. So we're not going to talk about those secrets right now.
Yeah, we're totally not talking about it.
Absolutely not. Never would I ever be accused of talking about secrets. Oh, finds that double King Ryu fight. That is a rare encounter, so big chunk of experience coming his way.
No one on this stream has talked about stretch goals yet. We have not used the stretch goals word. It's just secrets. And we're going to keep it that way.
Just that our goals are to stretch more often. Stretching is good for you. Stay hydrated.
Right, yeah. Don't we have a Ring Fit Adventure coming up at some point?
That's on the last day, and there is a more shenanigans incentive for that. So if you want to see, it's basically going to be Netara's going to die.
The vitriol in your voice was perfect.
It's not vitriol if you're stating the truth.
Just remember, we love Netara. So that's weak. That's weak in Medio on Palom, which are spells that are black magic. Whatever, you guys talk about.
They're spells, you know. We can cast them. Good times.
Scala, we did it. I think we're at full Valkyrie distraction.
Mission accomplished.
Internet high five.
It weakens. You know, good stuff.
As predicted, that is the hook from Earth Crystal. So if Sylverfyre decides to chase that looking for a boss, not going to get anything out of that, unfortunately. Activating the hovercraft. So that looks like exactly what Sylverfyre is doing.
Though, might just be going after Rattail and Pinktail. That's totally legit. And it wouldn't take too much time, so they're far from out.
That's very true. It's very true.
No. The goals are to stretch and stay hydrated. Stretch goals, that's not a thing. Nobody said stretch goals. We're just stretching. Getting that workout.
All right, and as you predicted, going and checking the Adamant Cave here.
Hey, Crystal Sword ain't bad.
Oh my.
Not shabby.
Not shabby at all.
Aw, it's an apple. Oh, Trino, the couch was never safe.
Picking up the hovercraft, looks like is gonna be going to Eblin Cave, which is a big red herring here, unfortunately.
Netara, however, making her way down. Looks like going deeper to take on the bosses first. Gotta hit that save point, maybe.
Yeah, going down up always a strong strategy here that a lot of runners like to do. And another double King Ryu fight found by Moonblazewolf, so that's been really good luck in his encounters there. Getting those fights without sirens available is pretty huge.
Yeah, Chameleons in chat's got the right idea. It's, there's been a lot of marathons. You've been with us for a while. Make sure you're getting up, stretch it all out.
And Sylverfyre exiting
hydrated.
out of the cave there and going back in. Not sure what that was about. Oh, exit for the safety save, it would seem. Well, okay. Very smart.
Pidge is turning in that tower key at this point. Moonblaze in a good position right now.
Yeah, still no exit spell for Moonblaze, so having to manually walk out of all of these dungeons.
Hey, it's a Rydia. That we won't be taking today. I sincerely doubt.
Don't you want 3 Rydias? To answer in chat, something rather, yes, we did get Harp. It was a brand new piece of music that had never been heard before. It was the finale, the Ultras fight during the opera scene from Final Fantasy VI. Definitely check out the VOD. The objectives for this flag set, we have collect both Edge and Rydia as characters, beat Bahamut as a boss, beat Golbez as a boss, wake Young with a pan, do the Odin spot, and yeah, that was all 6, and then that would get you the crystal.
We're a wholesome group. Like Moonblaze maybe tossing Yang for an agility anchor.
Yep, looks like that is the
Good
case.
move.
So if you are not familiar with Free Enterprise, what Moonblazewolf is doing right here is black magic that is understood by nobody brilliant of Free Enterprise scholar. This is something called agility anchoring. The idea by which the game sort of keeps the relative agility of all the characters in a given battle based all around the agility of the character in the center spot, or Cecil in certain circumstances where we don't have the agility agnostic flag turned on. The long and short of that is that by keeping a character with very low agility in that center spot, can make the rest of your characters go relatively faster compared to Zeromus. So you can get out a few more commands than you normally would be able to under normal circumstances. It's very, very complicated, but it can really provide results and give you the edge you need in what is normally a very difficult fight.
Speaking of Edge, Sylverfyre opting to throw away Palom for Edge, it appears. And Moonblaze has the crystal in hand and is ready to go.
So I know we've got a huge race going on all over here, but I want everyone's attention to the bottom screen. Going to be going in and fighting Zeromus here. Big question we want to ask, and I will let you do it, Dave, because we've got a special fight tonight.
I want to do the thing. I want to do the
Oh,
thing.
you want to do it? Okay, we're going to let Scala do the thing.
Yeah! I gotta do the thing. I will. So, first of all, thank you all for donating for our Z-Sprite incentive. We did it a little differently this time around. Instead of, giving you all any, hints or anything about what it could be, we just had you all pick the sentence that, best matches you. And for some reason, the sentence that, best matched our community is, they want to troll Demarine specifically.
We call it the Zeromus Briggs test.
Yes.
Wow. Unreal. Here we go.
It was nice knowing you. Enjoy your band.
No, that's perfect. No.
No, I wasn't gonna ban anybody for this. This is cool.
I'm like, nah, sweet. Like, what's the opposite of banning? Also, hi, Free Enterprise.
Hey, Free Enterprise.
Oh,
Hey, Free
just
Enterprise
in
here.
time.
Right on time.
So, I will do what is traditional for these races. I will do a full reveal afterwards of what all the options were. But, for right now, I think we have to ask, whose butt are we going to kick? And, how hard is Demarine going to laugh?
I've been thinking about this one for a while, and there's a couple of real good ones.
I picked the one that I wanted to have you react to, because I know it is something that you will enjoy. So I'm going to stay on mic for this one.
Here we go.
I'm all waiting to those shakes, by the way. Sylverfyre is made to giant. So I'm not far behind now. Anticipation's killing
John Madden throws the crystal.
Now you see, to transform Zeromus, you gotta be able to throw the crystal.
Bam!
Hey, you.
Please don't kill my perfect children! Why? No!
Yeah. I am complete.
Oh!
Oh my.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, who wants to explain the joke?
I will explain the joke because
Oh, right.
it's mine, of course. So, there is a clip on my channel from one of my Final Fantasy randomizer practice races I was doing many, many, many months ago. Clip is still there. But basically, it's just a bunch of us joking around about how awful lobsters are as an enemy. And, you know, we're joking around, and I go, there is nobody on Team Lobster. And my fiance, who's asleep right now probably, so I should probably turn down my own volume a little bit, who is sitting at the desk next to me, and you can hear on my microphone a lot of the time on my stream, goes, and I'm the only member, and we all lose it. And I'm like, well, maybe I should just lean into this at this point in time, so... my favorite enemy has become the lobster. I have a lobster emote on my channel. The lobsters are great. They are also full of murder. In the Final Fantasy randomizer, sometimes lobsters just decide to ruin your seed with like 5 hits and 400 damage to your mages. It's fantastic. But we love the lobsters, so...
And I guess, you know, at least there's the catharsis here that you get to see them being brutally murdered.
But I love them. They're my like,
They're
much like...
They're being such good murder children right now, though. They're
Like-
trying
like,
so
just like-
hard.
Just like Porum is my favorite white mage child from Final Fantasy IV. My lobsters are my favorite children from Final Fantasy I.
Yes, murdered children.
Look, they've got a goal in mind. It's murder. It's usually murder.
And that's why the Dawn of Souls.
Look
and
how
GSP
well
was
they're
removed.
doing! I'm so proud
Wow!
of them!
Holy crap! They got there. Go team!
Wow.
Go
Wow.
Team Lobster!
Well, it's not fair. It's 6-on-5.
Holy, they're gonna get there. They might get there.
It's like the first time your children beat you at your child beats you at basketball.
And then just so happen to be good at murder.
You know, murder basketball.
The thing is that, like, I am, like, ever so slightly ahead of y'all, so...
You can't win at basketball if you're
They
dead.
did it. They did it.
Lobsters 1, runners 0.
I don't don't think Zeromus has been rooted this hard for in quite some time.
I'm so happy.
Oh man.
See, look, all of chat is now on Team Lobster.
Yeah, Wells isn't gonna know what to do if he shows up.
No, for once, Wells is on the correct side.
He's on the right side of history for once.
The team has come through.
All right, so Demarine, since you're the lobster expert, what does moonblazewolf need to do to adjust his strategy for lobsters?
So, when you're dealing with lobsters, you generally speaking want to have a full set of gold bracelets for your mages, because you need to keep them protected from those sharp claws, because if they get into your mages, they're going to die. And if your white mage dies, they can't raise your party. Remember, life only works outside of combat. If you have Lightning 3, you could probably kill the lobsters pretty quickly, because they don't have the stamina to hang with you in a toe-to-toe battle. But Zeromus is a murder machine today, apparently.
I don't know where the rails are. They're gone.
Look, we were doing really well. I was so proud of us. We looked like we were an actual, like, professional marathon.
Like we were rocking on those rails, but now I don't even know where they are. They're just
Okay, they're gone.
They're long gone.
They've been snapped off like so much delicious lobster tail.
From the actual run standpoint, by the way, basically what Blaze is trying to do here is get a reflect kill here with those mages. The thing is that this has got to go pretty quickly with 3 active mages, because the second Big Bang will absolutely kill the party. They will die, and that's not exactly a good scene, because that's what happened the first time, was a couple low damage rolls put Blaze behind, and if you fall behind on this fight, it's all over. And here comes Syl down the back stretch trying to catch up here.
Yeah.
Is that really what happened, Demarine? Because what I saw was a bunch of...
what I saw was a bunch of lobsters just snapping and poisoning them and just scratching away.
But yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Rydia and a lot of the other children especially have very, very low HP totals, and Big Bang is a very big HP check. It has a very high variance. It can roll in. If you don't have the HP to survive it, things can get very nasty very quickly. And yeah, we saw that happen in it's Lobstermas. So now we got a race here, because Sylverfyre is about to enter their first attempt at Zeromus here. And if moonblazewolf takes another wipe, this could all of a sudden switch momentum right in Syl's favor.
Yep, Syl packing Crystal Sword Cecil and Spoon Edward, and is likely to just make them angry and go to town at this point. Well, and Edge, who is probably not great at this point, but gonna get angry. Good.
Yeah, when you got a Paladin Cecil and a Crystal Sword, there's really no finesse to be done in the Zeromus fight. It's make him angry and make sure he gets healed.
The age-old question, is Sylverfyre ready for Lobstermas? I think they are.
Could anyone possibly be?
Nobody's ready for Lobstermas.
I was ready. Actually, no, I wasn't. Would you like to? Would you like to all know a very special secret?
Absolutely.
I like secrets.
So, when we came up with version 4.0, Board finally, Board and I, we sort of had like a very sort of loose way of keeping track of Zeromus sprites for a long time. Board finally made a nice little codified version. So there is an official list that does exist. Board and I are the only 2 people who know how to access this list. I'm probably just going to let this stand. By accident, Lobstermas is actually in the pool twice. Because I just was very tired when uploading. Oh, but we had the flag! Yeah! We had the thing.
Oh, hey.
Hey, I think
Wait, am I allowed to boo?
Boo!
please.
Boom! This is terrible.
Ah, my children, why?
And
Why have you failed me?
Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye.
The
That also does mean moonblazewolf is our winner.
of Lobstermas.
Let me actually do my job and switch sounds, and I'll get the actual win time up there in a second, y'all.
At first place with 2 hours and some minutes.
It's
And some seconds.
it is actually on Blaze's side. 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 12 seconds.
That sounds accurate.
We'll go with it.
GG.
Pass the melted butter around.
There's no reason to be mean, Dave. Jeez.
Well, you want me to just eat it without butter?
Anyway, the long and the short of it is that Lobstermas is accidentally in there twice because of a mistake. But I'm leaving it in there, so it is actually the only Zoroma sprite that has double % chance of being found.
Wait. Are you telling me there's a chance, even if it's just a chance, we can get Lobstermas variants?
I'd have to talk to Ford about that.
Leave Lobstermas in there, but like update it to Sea Scorpion or something for the second one. For the
You're bad. Now you're bad.
translation.
Now you're bad. Nope. No, now you're banned.
Lobstermas eat lead.
We should probably ask if Blaze would like to come in for.
Oh no.
Oh,
hi.
oh.
Hi.
No. The lobsters got there again. I'm a little bit sadder when it's Syl because I like Syl, but
Wow!
my,
Wow! No punches pulled!
oh wait, no, sorry, I have to maintain.
Moonblazewolf. GG, congratulations, man. Next victory.
Moonblazewolf, the runner that I really like. Welcome.
Thank you. I had
God,
no business winning that seed.
The lobsters are doing so good right now. I'm so pleased with my powerful children.
Before we ask you like real things about the video game, I'd like to apologize to Demery for slaughtering her children.
Well, they got me the first time, and I didn't change a single thing. And I swear, like the second time, they just were totally different lobsters. So I don't know what was going on there.
You got bad damage rolls on the first try, and they just death touched your party. It happens. You got to roll better.
I knew I was being terrible, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that was that was bad. That was no skill. You just didn't have the skill to get to kill the lobsters the first time around.
Clearly, well, no, they let me know, so they were like, "Come back again once you've got a little bit more, focus or whatever that was." I don't know. We were having fun, so I didn't really worry about it too much.
I'm a little punchy right now, if you couldn't tell, but GG.
I think that's all of us actually. So. But yeah, thank you. No, it was fun. That seed was like very like I almost felt like it was cobbled together intentionally in a lot of ways. So
yeah, there was a stink of some meddling going on in there.
I know, yeah. Like who performed surgery on that seed? I just want to know because there was a Leviathan, a Bahamut, all sorts of like very intentionally seeming things. That probably were not, but it's still very nice to see.
So, what was sort of your thoughts on routing going into the? It seemed like it sort of took you like all over the place. What were sort of like the major like linchpin moments where you decided to make one check over another, and that really was sort of like the key for you?
I mean, I was just kind of trying to get a good character, honestly. Like, I knew I wanted to route my way up to getting the free key item from Edward because I forgot to do that in my last practice seed that I did before I did this today. So, if any of you have been kind of previewing the knockout flags for the Fabul Gauntlet, that's where there's like the T-Pro and all of that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get a jump start on figuring out how to do T-Pro. And I was like, I'm going to go down to Eblan Castle and I'm going to loot there. Or if I get Tella, I'm going to start in Watery Pass. And I was like doing all this elaborate routing, and then I realized there was a free key item like right at the very beginning of the seed. So I was just like, okay, well, let's just go get the free key item and see what happens from there. I ended up finding a dancing dagger almost immediately, so I was like, oh, cool, I should go get another character because I can kill things. And then that doesn't usually happen when you have a Rydia or a John Madden It start, I think, was mine. So I was like, cool, let's go kill things. And I went to Hobbs-Nose Palom, and I was like, cool, let's keep killing things because he's got magic. Or Demi, I guess. It was Demi. And I don't know, like, and then half my party was dead, so I was like, let's go to Fabool and defend that so I get the free heal. And I don't know, like, and then I ended up with the Magma Key. It was just, it was like such a mess. I have no idea what I was doing. And then my party was still terrible once I had the Darkness Crystal, so I was like, okay, let's go up to the Giant. I got some Charm Arrows. And Edward, or Ferric with a spoon. I can totally just, like, grind some Mac Giants, because that's a thing. And then it took me, like, 25 tries to get the... And I was just hating everything at that point. And then, when I did get the encounter, all of the Charm Arrows went into the Searcher, and, like, 2 of them went into the Mac Giant. So it was just, it was such a mess. And then I just got totally bailed out by Bahamut being at the end, so okay, sure.
Yeah, and I wouldn't sweat it, Blaze. Like I said, this was a very chilly zoo. You saw for yourself. You gave everybody a lot of trouble. Very specific spots, a lot of same spots in that team. But you made the right checks early on. So.
Yeah, it's cool. No, like I'm not trying to like complain about anything. I thought it was really funny more. And there was just a couple things where, you know, I'm sure I was having difficulty with some of the same stuff everybody else was. Like, the Maga Sisters were definitely a lot to handle at that Fabool defense spot, but then, like, they started casting spells on each other the first time, so I was like, cool, I think I got this. So, and it just took a little while, and Dark Elf also handed me my breakfast almost at Hobbs at the beginning, and it was definitely a rough start, but kind of once you got going, there were some pretty free bosses. I didn't take the Cecil at the package, and I just kind of stuck to that because I was annoyed by that Yang at the Fey March, but I was like, that's not enough to go back and get him. Maybe if I get like a Crystal Sword or something, but that was it. So
There was a Crystal Sword. It was behind the pink tail.
okay.
Right behind you was Rocky.
Yeah. Well, who needs a Crystal Sword when you got a spoon anyway?
Exactly.
That felt good. I haven't played a steed with a spoon flap in a really, really long time now. So.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that during the seed that with all these, we've had to say goodbye to the spoon flag. It's so nice to see it back in play for once.
Yeah, I would like to petition the committee to turn off the no sirens and anything reasonable though, because getting roadblocked on a very, like, that seed was pretty linear too. It just kind of forced you down the particular path, it felt like, and there was not a lot of help to be found. So, but yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed it very, very much, and I hope everybody else enjoyed watching us too.
Yeah, thank you so much, Moon, for racing this here tonight. It was a pleasure to watch you, and thanks again for joining us here for Quick and
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm gonna probably go get some sleep because I want to get up for Hotbot's Ogre Battle 64 run, which is going to be fantastic, and I hope all of the people who are more Night Owly can check that out because it'll be a lot of fun.
Thanks again, man.
And Blaze, just real quick, you are cool to cut your stream in that case.
Okay,
Good night.
thank you.
And joining us in second place at 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 23 minutes is Sylverfyre, Demarine's favorite runner.
I'm not commentating. I'm allowed to be biased towards Sylverfyre.
You definitely. There's one moment still that I think you need to watch the run. Oh, I have the feelings here.
There's a few.
My party?
No, it was when you got dumpstered by the lobsters.
Okay. That was so unlucky. Rosa didn't survive by 8 HP. If I used the gold apple on Rosa before that fight, she'd be fine.
You didn't respect the lobsters.
I
and the
didn't
lobsters
respect the lobsters. I took a greedy recast of Berserk because I was expecting a black hole.
So yeah, one thing that sort of ended up, you and Moon were sort of neck and neck with the thing that cost you a couple minutes there at the end was...
I went to Zot, and then Zot gave me Hook, and then I went to Upper Babel.
Yeah, that was such a, just such a rabbit hole there. We're just really banking on it, and like, what were kind of your thoughts going into that?
The bosses are faster and I can reset out.
Makes perfect sense.
I didn't want to reset out of Zot though because the key item could lead somewhere because we were still missing Tower Key and Luca Key, which could, and Hook, all of which could have led to Bahamut.
The moon pathing definitely seemed to pay off where you got you the levels you needed and expertly took out the bosses on the moon.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that moon, like my execution on the moon. It was pretty challenging, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, of the race, I thought that was really probably the biggest flex on your end was just expertly executed bosses on the moon.
How'd you feel about that Bahamut on the Giant?
I like the XP there. I wish I had gone, like, I was thinking Giant versus Zot when I was coming back down, and I'm like, we're gonna, like, I incorrectly chose, but, like, it was pretty much a coin toss, it felt. I went Zot because of the key item.
Well, did you have any other thoughts about this seed or the race in particular?
It felt like we didn't do anything underground.
Yeah, you kind of got there early and just kind of
got there early. The bosses weren't relevant.
Yeah,
and like did Dwarf Castle at one point.
Could pick up Bahamut from the Feymarch and just got people into trouble because they forgot that bosses counterattack summons. We've seen a lot of that. Great. Well, thanks so much.
Oh, was Bahamut on the guard boss?
Yeah, Bahamut was on the guards.
Okay, I didn't fight that boss.
Yeah, yeah.
That would have been nice to have. That would have been real nice to have, and oh well. I would have kept double Rydia for that.
Right. Yeah, it was for some fights, but it actually didn't come into play too much.
I wanted to set up a kill on Wyvern where like I cast a summon at it and then it reflects off of Rydia.
That's smart.
But it wasn't working, and that fight kind of went real sloppy for me.
Mm-hmm.
It did for everybody.
Yeah, don't worry.
I mean, yeah, like at some point you're just like, I'm going to solve this fight by spamming life potions.
Great. Well, thanks so much,
Luca Key was behind the karate as well, which just ended up being a rabbit hole, so it didn't miss anything there. I'm sorry, Smith. I cut you.
No problem. I was just saying thank you so much for racing. It was a ton of fun.
It was fun.
Everybody got to show off the new music and the new sprites and everything. So yeah, hope you enjoyed yourself, and GG on second place.
Oh, Sil, we have a runner's choice for you.
Oh.
There was a runner's choice that was to be given to whoever was the runner-up, and that is you. So you have $10 that you can put wherever you'd like.
Give me a moment, but I'll think about that.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know that before you stepped away.
We do have 3 other donations as well while Sil thinks. Meads donated $10. While I do enjoy the thought of a long run, I enjoy making others suffer more. I double-checked that was donated towards Oswald for Odin Sphere. Thanks. From Leggy Starscream, we have $10. Trolling Demi is one of life's greatest pleasures. This was such a fun race to watch, and Team Lobster rides again. Donation goes to Champion Blazewolf's choice. And Myomike has donated $3 just with the comment of Fuba.
Fuba! Have you ever seen the
Yeah, it's still done.
Okay, crud, what can I do? Can someone hop in and
Back
talk?
up.
Okay, we're back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're back! When I said we were working on it, we were just thinking really, really hard. And
Surprise! That was the secret.
that was not the secret!
Oh.
We stretched a little too hard.
We stressed a little too hard.
We hit the modem.
but
Don't worry
do-
about it.
Yeah, right. He knocked our water bottle over onto our computer.
But do stick around, because there might be a reveal of secrets.
There are no secrets.
There
I
might be
believe
some...
Pidge is in go mode now.
Yes, Pidge is going to give us round 3 against the Lobsters. So right now the Lobsters are 2-2.
Oh,
Let's
also,
see if they can extend this to a winning record.
also, they are not able to do an interview, but many thanks to Netara as well for racing. They just had to tap out, but they did an amazing job, and much love to, of course, Netara.
Thank
Yep.
you, Netara.
They said
So
they'll
much
finish.
Netara.
They said they'll finish the seed tomorrow, probably. So
And I guess Pidge isn't in go mode yet, so something's still missing.
Pidge is still missing.
looking for
Bahamut has
Bahamut?
not
Oh, yes.
has
Pidge
not
Giant.
gone to Giant.
So Pidge is on this unfortunate rabbit hole here. The play makes total sense. We just happen to know that it's unfortunately.
It depends on whether or not Pidge falls further down the rabbit hole. Like now, check the upper battle bosses.
Yeah, I mean, in that position, that's the way I would go. With all the boss checks there.
Right. Well, there's 2 bosses to there. We know one of the from peeking at the top of the tower. So there was only one unknown boss, assuming Pidge remembers what was scattered at the top of the tower. So then there would be 2 bosses in Giant versus 1 boss from going down the hook route. So that would sort of be the problem to weigh on Pidge's mind as to what would be the most efficient check there. The nice thing is Pidge is in a very excellent position here, level-wise. It's got Cecil and Rosa both with great HP totals. Cecil doing enough damage that as soon as go mode is achieved, can go right into that Zerona's fight with no need to worry about leveling up any.
Another appearance by Cecil here.
We have the Dark Knight guarding the Paladin here. And there's our engineer friend.
The Pain Beard combo. Have a good night, boys.
To compliment the Vaporwave Rosa.
I mean, Vaporwave, she's a good. I don't think anyone's actually managed to put together an entire Vaporwave party yet.
She got an
But,
achievement for that.
However, I do have to say, unfortunately, while this race has been absolutely amazing, unfortunately, time is catching up with us. So Pidge is also going to take the forfeit, but we'll see if she would like to come in and say a few words.
She is not, because
okay.
she also needs to go to bed.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. That is totally fine and understandable. I mean, much love to Pidge, to Syl, to Blaze, to Netara, to everyone who came out and did this race. We are going to do 2 very, very quick things, and then we'll be moving on to our next run. But I believe I do owe you all a promise. I am just making sure... Okay, there we go. I had music queued up. Be very soft, but we'll have some music for this. So very quickly, chat, I owe you the reveal of all of the Z sprites, don't I?
That was the big secret, by the way.
That was the big secret. That's 100% the secret. There aren't any other secrets.
None at all. No way.
Nope.
So obviously we did get I Want to Troll Demarine specifically. That was our winner. Thank you all very, very much. There's one that was called I Crave the Memes. And there you go. Everyone can stop asking me about it. There's the goose. I have it. It's there.
Oh my god, it's so big.
Yes. So there you go.
It's so big.
And all of these are currently in the pool, so you all can get them.
The goose is majestic.
The goose is quite majestic. We had another one that was simply, I don't want to sleep tonight. I hope none of you want to sleep tonight.
Oh my god.
Why?
There was a community request. It's like,
Wow.
I want Furby, but I wanted to stare into my soul. And I found that guess what? There was a Furby game, and guess what? One of the sprites is
I
staring
hate
into
it.
your soul.
It's gonna end with Thomas the Tank Engine coming down at me with Furby riding on top of it.
That's what you'll see tonight in your nightmares, Dave. And then finally, this is the one I wanted to win because it is actually legit cute. And it was for I like innovative indie games.
I love it.
I had to work very hard to actually make graphics that match the Baba Is You style. So that way it would perfectly match. So
Oh,
yes.
that is too good.
It's really good, Skull.
Alright, y'all. But we actually do have a reveal of secrets. Jailomus will be added eventually, Dijon. Don't worry about it. So because y'all have been super duper generous, we do indeed have stretch goals. The first of which has already been met. So our first stretch